Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflare. Hope everybody out there is doing really well today, and it's time for another donation league running Jund yet again. We had a ton of fun doing it the first time. We're going to have even more fun, I hope, doing it here again. So let's give it up in the comments. Let's see a lot of love for our Patreon supporter, Domenico Toscani. If that name sounds familiar to you, well, Domenico was actually instrumental in me playing Jund the first time on this channel because even though the donation league was for another Patreon supporter, Sal, Domenico actually let me borrow some cards. So Domenico has already helped us bring you some great Jund content on this channel, and he's doing so again. He is qualified for a donation league, and he's letting me borrow the cards yet again. So, I mean, what more can you say? This guy is almost single-handedly making Jund happen on this channel. So thank you so much, Domenico. This league is for you. And this is a list that Domenico and I have worked together to kind of create. Now, we started with the list that came in first in the relatively recent MCQ, but of course there were some deck warping decisions based around the presence of Hogak. And we started saying, well, first of all, let's take away the stuff that we don't need as much of and see what slots come up. And then, basically, at one point, Domenico was just like, hey, do you want to play 4 Wrenn and 6? I was like, hey, man, if you've got them, I'll play them. So that's the most important thing to know about this. We're jamming the full 4 Wrenn and 6. These are the cards, predominantly the cards that I have had to borrow because they are unholy expensive right now, but we've got the full 4 here, and it's a heck of a card. It really is one of the major appeals to playing Jund at the moment. It was a massive addition for the deck. The one thing that I will mention is I was pushing a little bit for the inclusion of Barrenmoor, and as you can see, it's not here. We do have Nurturing Peatland and Ghost Quarter that combo really well with the Wrenn and 6. But I was like, if we're playing the full 4 Wrenn, we should probably play the Barrenmoor. And Domenico was open to this, but neither of us quite knew which land was best to cut. So I consulted the Jund Discord. Shout out to Flying Delver's mid-range Discord. We consulted the Jund players. Consensus seemed to be that it would be best to add a 24th land. So I was talking to Domenico saying, hey man, do we cut a land? Do we cut a spell to play this Barrenmoor? People say that Seasoned Pyro is maybe straining the mana base a little bit, so do we trim a Pyro, add a Moor? And if we trim one Pyro, do we just trim the second, maybe get our 4th Liliana in, or our 3rd Bloodbraid? Or do we just say, don't bother with the Moor? And he said, yeah, let's just not play the Moor, because we want to see the spells. We've got a lot of fun 2-ofs here. We've got a 2-of Hexdrinker. We've got 2 of the aforementioned Spyro. 2 Bloodbraid Elves, and of course the 4 Wrenn and 6, a lot of other 1 and 2-ofs, and then a lot of relatively stock inclusions like the 4 Inquisition, the 2 Thoughtseize, the 4 Lightning Bolt, and so forth. Notably, we do have a main deck Plague Man because this is just like my favorite card, and he's very main deckable, and he's just a complete all-star in Rock. We'll see how he does here. I imagine just as well. Other notables on the side, Chandra Torch of Defiance. Very cool art, also borrowed from Domenico, and just a great grindy card out of the side. Weather the Storm is a card that I have actually kind of dissuaded people from playing in the Rock. I'm not saying don't test it or anything, by all means, but to me, in the Rock, the matches where Weather the Storm would come in are already pretty good. I would rather play Collective Brutality. Brutality's got a perhaps lower ceiling, but it does have a higher floor, and it comes in way more matchups. However, I am kind of excited that Domenico wanted to include Weather the Storm here in this list, because it does let me get a chance to play it on camera, even though I'm not necessarily a believer in it in the Rock. Definitely seems like it might do a little bit of work in Jund, where you might, for example, against Burn, you might really need the big life swing and, the high ceiling, and don't mind the higher variance for that. Like I said, we've got Ghost Quarter to loop with Wrenn and 6, and other than that, we've got a nice, well-balanced collection of sideboard cards. So, without further ado, let's go play a league, guys. Let's go play a modern league. Yeah, so thanks again, Domenico. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the conversations. Thanks for working with me on building the deck. I hope we've come to a decent setup here. And thanks, of course, for letting me borrow the cards. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for watching. For those who don't know, every dollar that you donate to me on Patreon not only avails you of the tier rewards, of the privileges that are included at the various tiers, it also all is cumulative. And when you hit the $50 donation mark, well, you qualify for a donation league. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the rewards for that level of support. So thanks again, man, and thank you to all Patreon supporters, as always. For those interested, link is in the description below. And here we are. Round 1. Let's jund them out. Let's do it. Junding them out. Losing the die roll. All right, GG, I quit. What are we lose the die roll? What are we supposed to do? Come on. Come on. So just for those who don't watch my channel on a regular basis, I am not a Jund player. I consider myself an expert in exactly Golgari midrange, exactly BG Rock, nothing more, nothing less. Been having great results on the Rock lately, by the way. 4-1, 5-0, 4-1 in my last 3 leagues. You can see one of them in my previous video, Golgari League number 29, I believe it is, on this channel. But I don't have, like, any competitive experience with Jund whatsoever. The previous Jund Donation League was my first time ever out. This hand's pretty bad, but with our opponent mulling, I'm inclined to keep it. That might be terrible, but I'm going to give it a keep in a blind game 1. This Thoughtseize is going to do more damage the more the opponent mulls. And maybe this is just bad. Maybe we should be mulling for a 6 as well, but I'm not... maybe I'm being baited by the presence of Lightning Bolt. As a Rock player, I'm not as used to seeing... You know, I'm like, 2 pieces of 1 mana interaction. We've got to keep it, right? Hey, there we go. Rewarded. Tarmogoyf right off the top. All right, so... Island. I think I'm still going to fetch a swamp, even though with basic Island Pass we can probably afford to get something else. We've got so many fetch lands, we might as well just get a swamp. So, Sulphur Falls. This could be Blue Moon. They've got Opt, Spell Snare, Vendilion, Click, Cryptic Command. If it's Blue Moon, they're probably going to struggle to answer Tarmogoyf. So, I'm going to take the Spell Snare and go for the turn 2 Goyf plan. Opponent will opt, as expected, and they will top. That could mean a lot of things, you know, Ooh, Hex Drinker, that's probably pretty good as well. They do need to continue hitting lands, so they could have just topped a land for all we know. But yeah, let's run out our Goyf. We're also, you know, they don't know that we're Jund yet. We look like a Rock deck so far. Another Goyf, huh? Okay, well, these are fine cards. Attack with our Goyf here. Opponent will fetch. Yeah, looking like Blue Moon. Okay. Here comes the click, so I guess I'm just bolting here. And whichever one of our creatures they take away, we've got a good follow-up play here. Alright. So Hex Drinker, of course, they can answer at least, so makes some sense. But having drawn a second one especially, we clearly run this one out and make them have something. And the Goyf is still the pressing issue. Inquisition of Kozilek. Yeah, I mean, sure, we'll eat on that. There's a low percentage chance that it could whiff, but it could whiff here. Pestermite. Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting at all. Fair enough. Okay, now it's probably going to whiff. Yep. Cryptic Command, Steam Vents. I guess we're just putting the Hex Drinker to level 3. And I guess we're also getting another basic Swamp, which I believe is in our deck. Sure is. Alright, so next turn we've got 5 mana all day. So we don't need to... We can afford to play our other Hex Drinker out here is what I'm trying to get at. But we'll attack first. Alright, seeing Hex Drinkers right off the bat here. Opponent's going to be able to buy some time with this Cryptic Command for sure, but... Ooh, Liliana of the Veil. You know, I'm kind of inclined to just jam her, and if they want a Cryptic... I guess they could technically Cryptic and draw, then they're going to get hit and go to 1. But at this stage of the game, I don't mind Liliana trading for the Cryptic, you know, to deny them another draw, basically. Could have run out the land first to play around other spells, but really, the spell is Cryptic Command right now. And it's almost 6 of one, half dozen of the other, like they can counter her here. Or we could have moved to attacks, made them tap down and draw, and then played the Liliana after. Yeah, maybe that was actually better. Maybe we should have moved to attacks, forced out the Cryptic, and then played our Lilia in the second main. Sure. Guess we're just leveling up Hex Drinkers as much as we can here. So we can put 1 to 4 and then to 5 if we fetch and shock here. Next turn 6, 7, 8, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess it's worth fetching and shocking in case we draw another untapped land. Basically, but shouldn't be the decision that that matters in this game. Yeah, you know, I actually should have moved to attacks there. I'm pretty certain now that I've done it. Always a little takes me a minute or two to get warmed up. Okay, Pester might attack, not a good sign. Probably means they are. Well, a fetch land actually makes our decision awkward, because now we're dead to a Lightning Bolt plus another Pestermite hit. So, guess let's just try to give this thing protection from everything before we do much else. And yeah, I don't think we're gonna use that fetch land for much of anything. Deceiver Exarch. Okay. So this is a 1/4 with flash, and it's going to tap down our Hex Drinker. So exactly what are we playing around here and now? Like, we were already dead to fetch land activation plus Pestermite hit plus Bolt. But we're going to be dead to Pestermite hit plus Exarch hit plus Bolt. regardless of whether we fetch or not. So how loose is it to sit back with the Tarmogoyf? Seems pretty loose, right? Seems pretty loose. Because we get in for 5 now, then they're just dead to the Hex Drinker next turn unless they have another Cryptic command. So if we have to chump block with this second Hex Drinker or whatever. Alright. So yeah, we'll just sink mana into it. We'll just chump with it, probably. But no reason not to. Besides bluffing. And bluffing does not change the opponent's decision-making here. Yeah, okay, good enough. They scoop. So, yeah, they had us very, very close, actually, to, you know, the painful Jund mana base ended up being a bit of an issue here. Potentially losing to the Pestermite beats, among other things. But, so I guess we're looking at Blue Moon here. Nile Spellbomb seems fine. I don't know that we saw Snapcaster Mage or anything, but obviously seems pretty reasonable here. I think we just have to assume that number 1, they're probably on some kind of effect like that. Number 2, even if they're not, well, it's not exactly a massive loss to go with something that replaces itself when you're in doubt. I don't know that we have all that much else to do, though. I don't really historically like Fulminator against Blue Moon. They just simply don't play enough basics. Plague Engineer is cute against Pestermite. But really, you know, even Chandra seems a little bit medium here, but I think I might bring her in because she can be cast under the moon. She's obviously a grindy value piece like few others, so I don't think I'm interested in too much here, maybe just these 3. Wrenn and 6 seems good here. Do we leave in our 1 of Fatal Push? And are they trying to combo off on us in any way, or is it just... I have seen those Pestermites just played as tempo pieces in a Blue Moon deck, but I think we'll leave in our Fatal Push, just respecting the possibility of the combo. There's really not much that's that bad here. Maybe we're just going to move away from the Plague Man here. Historically, I don't mind cutting a land in general against control decks. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can just cut, like, it would be Blooming Marsh and the Rock that I'm used to, so maybe we'll just cut a Blackcleave Cliffs. I don't know how good that is, but we're going to give that a shot. Especially on the draw, seems pretty free. And then we have 1 more cut to make. And I guess I'm just going to trim away on an Ooze. Green mana may well be at a premium here. You know, we could move off of a Bob or something in case they can just kill him too easily, but he's certainly one of our high-value permanents if he can stick, right? That was the first of many inexperienced sideboards you'll see in this league, but hopefully it's going to be good enough. Opponent will mull. We've got a fine one. We'll keep it. So as things stand, we might be priced into turn 2 Bob, because I think we might be priced into fetching a Swamp on turn 2 to play around Blood Moon. And if that's the case, then of course we will not be casting Wrenn and 6. It's a little awkward to fetch Swamp and, you know, not have a forest potentially. Oh, does Hex Drinker change anything? I think so. I think we're just going to jam that. And, you know, we do have our other basic Swamp in hand, so we're not strictly forced to, but I think it's wise to get a basic Swamp here. All else being equal, it's definitely wise to. And then, of course, with Liliana the Veil in hand, it's even more wise. Opponent has bottomed with that opt. We draw a Tarmogoyf. All right. Alright, so if they have another Blood Moon, then a lot of our stuff in hand gets awkward, so I think I am going to cast... I think I am going to get a Swamp. Cast the Bob. Bob's going to be able to dig us out of a Blood Moon better than some other things would, if indeed that's what they've got. And we've also still on track for Liliana of the Veil. Blood Moon or otherwise. It's very awkward to have sequenced in this way in some regards, you know. Under other circumstances, a turn 2 Wrenn or 6, buying back that Bloodstained Mire would be kind of a great start. Obviously, Tarmogoyf's really nice in the matchup. Alright, opponent does have a Bolt. Fair enough. Okay, Blackcleave Cliffs, huh? So, are we still attempting to jam Liliana here? I think so. Snapcaster Bolt would be a little bit rough here. Could just have a Vendilion click to trade off. That would be a little bit rough as well, but... Deceiver Exarch. Whew, okay. Alright, wasn't playing around that. Oh, goodness. Yeah, this is a pretty bad blowout. Pretty bad blowout at the moment. Okay. Yeah, nothing we can do. Alright, okay, that was a bad attack. That was a very bad attack. Yeah, you got us. Well, this is what I meant about those cards being, you know, tempo plays. Or just value plays. And now we actually can't do anything. Oof. Okay. Alright, guys. Well, that was, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Oh my, oh my. Okay, so the play there clearly was just to jam Liliana main phase. Now they're on Cryptic Command, and now we lost our Hex Drinker. For no good reason. We draw Inquisition. Sure, we'll begin with it. It's actually a pretty good draw. Second only to Thoughtseize, really. Oh, they've got double Cryptic. At least getting a Remand out of their hand is pretty good. So, what do we want to run into the Cryptic? If anything. So, I think we do want to run something into the Cryptic because they're just going to bounce our Raging Ravine end step. And I want to force them to counter draw this turn and the next turn have a double spell turn. So, let's run the Wrenn and 6 out. Yep. Alright, well, if I had sequenced better, we would be in a much better position. But we're still looking for the double spell action here. And I guess I'm going to lead on Tarmogoyf. And if they let it resolve, then I'm just probably going to pass. Yeah, opponent smells the double spell turn, so deep in the tank here. And again, this is why I ran the Wrenn and 6 out last turn. So we could put ourselves in this position this turn, give the opponent something to think about. Alright. Okay, so we get our Liliana down, better late than never. And, yeah, it's not great here, but I am going to Edict. So, you know, we're still at the stage of the game where Blood Moon would be a problem because it turns off Raging Ravine, it turns off all of our green cards, basically. Alright, let's take up. Tomb is a pretty free pick here. Fatal Push is not exactly a high-value card, but we'll hang on to it for a minute. Tomb doesn't really change much of what's going on. Okay. You know, I'm sure there are some things we could be playing around here, but Ravine is such a good clock that I think, given the potential Blood Moon in our future and all that, it's time to just get in. They could just have Lightning Bolt in response to the trigger as well, but with only one card in hand, I think it is correct. Alright, what's this, opponent? Fetching a basic island. Ooh, snap. Okay, the window for Snap Bolt was missed, but apparently they don't need or want to do that. I suppose it's just Snap Cryptic then. Okay, so they're going to get our Liliana off, but we'll have, you know, Fatal Push target. Oh, okay, they're going to do it this way. Interesting. Opponent did target Cryptic Command, right? Yeah, okay, they're just... Yeah, that's what I thought was going on, but I wasn't sure why the block was assigned first, but I guess there's no reason not to, right? Turned off my auto yields so we could make sure we're getting this land back down here. Then it's back to the opponent. As said, we're going to lose our Liliana, so that was a really nice last card for them to have, but, you know, our Raging Ravine has not been dealt with on a permanent basis. Assassin's Trophy. Alright, I'm going to choose to attack with the Ravine again. Just the longer we wait, the likelier they are to draw another Snap or another Bolt. Something that punishes us for waiting, basically. And while it is true that Fatal Push will hit that Snapcaster, there's no particular reason not to. Holy moly, the Snapcaster chain. I mean, yeah, pretty rough. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Yep. And notably, the opponent has passed up 2 chances to just bolt the Ravine. And that might come back to haunt them at some point, but probably not quite yet. So, is there any reason we should still be racing? Now that we've drawn Black Cleave Cliffs, I'm actually kind of tempted to. Because next turn we can attack again and we'll have Fatal Push up. Unless they bounce our Raging Ravine yet again. But, you know, if they have a million bounce effects, then we're just not winning this game anyway. Okay, opponent electrolyzed us. Fair. Attacking for 4. Alright, so I guess we're priced into a little bit of defense now because we don't want to just be dead to a bolt. So, pass to you. So if they attack with both, I think it's going to be correct to Fatal Push first to play around Mana Leaks and Logic Knots a little bit better. See what happens with this. Gives them more information, and they can, like, Cryptic to counter and bounce, or whatever the best Cryptic play would be. But again, you know, card like Cryptic Command at this stage of the game we're not beating anyway, so I guess we play around what we can realistically play around. Spell Pierce. Yeah, I mean, we've got Trophy, so I guess I'm paying for this. And then, once again, because we don't want to go into bolt range, we will attempt a Trophy here. So pushing first did end up being very, very important, rather than... Ooh, Spell Snare. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're dead to bolt. Opponent still got 3 cards in hand. Not very optimistic. Their top deck has been insane, but, you know, admittedly, we did. Alright, so once more, I think the same metrics apply. The longer the game goes on, the likelier we are to lose it, so I'm just going to try to force the Liliana here. All right. Raging Ravine, I love you, but you're a tad pricey to activate sometimes. Okay, we're dead to the Vendilion Click. All right, so my failure to play around Deceiver Exarch as a blocker, I guess, was what cost us the game. Not something you say every day, and definitely a bit unusual that a Jund or a Rock Threat gets taken care of by a 1/4. It's just not something that's usually going to happen in any way, shape, or form, but, whoops, sorry about that. That is definitely a downside of Hexdrinker, but I have myself to blame for that one. So I don't think we saw... I mean, we just saw all the stuff we already knew was in there. The Cryptics, the Snapcasters, the Tempo plays, the Counter Magic, the Permission. So I don't believe anything else is particularly appealing. Again, Fulminator is good against, like, any other control matchup, but they're just showing me way too many basics for me to want to rely on that. Plague Engineer doesn't seem very good. You know, it does take care of Pestermite and Vendilion Click potentially, but just don't think that's the type of game we want to play. How does that compare to Seasoned Pyromancer? I like casting Spyro under a Blood Moon. That's a big selling point to it. I think this setup is fine. I think we're just going to run it back. I think leaving this Miserly 1-of push is fine as well. Yeah, we should be pretty good set up like this. We'll keep. This does not play well around Blood Moon at all. So that's the only kind of downfall of the hand, and it does make me wonder if we should be just playing Raging Ravine turn 1 and passing. The early pressure of Hexdrinker is really nice and all, but we saw how that can go in game 1. Yeah, I'm gonna go Raging Ravine. This might be my inexperience showing. Yeah, unfortunate. Opponent has mulliganed every game down to 6. Okay, there is a basic, another way to fetch a basic land. That's a beautiful thing. So the big question is, are we prioritizing 1 forest, 1 swamp? Or double swamp for Liliana? I don't know, but I guess either way we can get a swamp here. And then maybe have our decision informed by what goes on between now and our turn 3. Opponent will opt. To the bottom. Polluted Delta Pass. Alright, Dark Confidant. Alright, well, I guess that kind of settles it. We're going to get a swamp and we're going to jam Liliana here. I don't envision a world in which... Okay, nice. In which getting a forest is correct there. Can we afford to pitch this mountain? Yeah, I think so. Opponent's got responses here. Peak. Oh, that is spicy. Opponent is playing Peak. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And, you know, there are reasons to keep this mountain around Hex Drinker, Raging Ravine, but we're just going to pitch it. Everything else in our hand's pretty good. Opponent will pitch a mountain as well in Solidarity. Our mountain's cooler, though. Onslaught Basics. Sure. I have been suspicious for Lightning Bolt. Just seemed like they had it. Alright, well, we continue on the Liliana plan here. So I'm actually pretty frightened of playing out both Bob and Hex Drinker and then just getting blown out by Electrolyze. But realistically, Electrolyze is bad no matter how we sequence around it or fail to sequence around it. I think I'm just pitching this land again. Play the Bob then, see what happens. If they've got permission here, I guess we just jam Hex Drinker. If not, it might be Spell Snare. Whew. Yep. Alright, jamming Hexy. There's been some difficult decisions here, especially for somebody who is new to Junding them out, as your host here is. It's been an interesting game. Oh, Seasoned Pyromancer? Yeah, I mean, can't cast him. So I guess we'll pitch him. And I'm pretty happy to just go for the level 3 here. If they've got a bolt or a snap bolt, then that's what they've got. But there is no realistic way not to. You know, we are punished a little bit for not having a 4th land. Electrolyzing us, sure. Okay. Desolate Lighthouse. Okay, yeah, Dark Confidant's a pretty good draw. This allows us to just jam everything here. Obviously, Cryptic Command would be the big blowout here, but they don't seem to have it. I don't ever hold priority because I don't play with Lightning Bolt. Is it control to hold priority? I want to hold priority of Liliana. Hold to keep priority control. Alright, let's hope this works. Control. Take up. Bolt you. This would be extremely disciplined from the opponent if they have been sitting on a Cryptic. Then they just get us, but yeah, I can't imagine that was very likely. Sulphur Falls is the pitch. Last thing, ooh, Snapcaster, great last card. That's been a recurring theme of these games, so Snap for Bolt, obviously. Okay. Opponent's in it. And it's a top deck war where some of our top decks are not exactly live. There's a great example. Not exactly live. Between the presence of discard and the fact that we don't have the ability to cast every spell with this mana. Yeah, it's very I mean, we still haven't seen a Blood Moon in all these games. It's possible the opponent just doesn't have one. Okay, the loot with Lighthouse might give us a window for our Inquisition to be good, at least. A main phase loot. Of course, it's possible that they pitch an Opt. Wow, interesting. Stomping Ground, huh? Is this a draw step Lightning Bolter? Okay, no. Yeah, I mean, let's cast it. I could see them keeping, like, yeah, Spell Snare. Cool. Alright, we are 1 land away from beginning to get value out of our graveyard. Activate Raging Ravine. Another Lighthouse activation. The Loot House, as the kids call it. It's going to be good for them for sure. Whew, Wrenn in 6, huh? Yeah, that's pretty decent. Guess we definitely take the window for the W6, huh? Probably should tap the correct mana. Please no other Spell Snare. Alright, so let's buy back the Verdant Catacombs. We'll get Forest with this. We'll get that other card out of their hand. Archmage's Charm, cool. Alright, I'm going to wait to fetch until my upkeep so I have Revolts. Oh, I don't have a stop set on my own upkeep, so that's fine. Ooh. Yeah, maybe should have played around Cryptic by keeping that land in hand, actually. Didn't, yeah, just... Don't have exactly cryptic off the top. Okay, it's Vendilion clicked, sure. That's going to get pinged by a Wrenn 6. I don't know if... Yeah, I guess that's still worth doing for the opponent, of course, because we have to take down instead of up. And there we go. I like attacking here because, again, it gets us up out of bolt range. All we know, they don't have anything. Okay, opponent salting off a little bit. You are so lucky. I mean, GG. You play a 4x4 deck. I don't know what that means. You play so bad. Well, there's an element of truth to that, to be fair. Yeah, so, hey. Good games. Good games. The 4x4 deck carrying us here, apparently. I don't know what that means, but hey, we got there. We got there. Who needs to be good when you have Wrenn 6? Am I right? When you have a 4x4 deck? If someone can tell me what that means, that would be great. But hey, we got there. And yeah, admittedly, I did, you know, the Hex Drinker attack was a little bit loose, I suppose. But, you know, we did get absolutely maximum punished for it. But hey, I never claimed to be anything but a Jund noob. Opponent will mulligan again. Lots of mulls we're going to keep. It's a painful one, but I don't know how to judge the relative pain of Jund hands, because I am just used to Golgari, where the mana base is relatively painless. Oh, Urza's mine. Well, here is an example of a matchup where Jund does not shine relative to Rock. The lack of main deckable land destruction is definitely significant. They've got a main deck Thragtusk. That is horrible for us. Okay, so I'm tempted to leave them with the Stirrings here, because if they want to go to Stirrings next turn, of course, then they're playing Forest. And Oblivion Stone is a massive, massive problem for BGX decks in general. So I'm going to take the O-Stone. I think that's pretty correct there. Okay, you know, so we've successfully staved off Tron until turn 4 at the earliest. They find a star off of Stirring, sure. They'll play it. Bloodstained Mire. Alright, so that's some good old-fashioned Wrenn 6 fuel, but I think we just need to play a threat here. And I guess it's going to be Tarmogoyf. I think on Rock, it is more of an open question as to whether turn 2 Bob or Goyf is better in the Tron matchup, because, of course, you're just drawing to more disruption in the deck with Bob. In Rock, you know, you're drawing to your Fields of Ruin and so forth. Alright, so the opponent is going to have Tron. Nothing we can really do about it. They're also going to have the green mana for Thragtusk between their Forest and their Star. So, drawing another Bob. What do we do? What do we do? I guess it's Bobby time. And we do have Bolt and Push to chew through the Thragtusk. You know, it's gonna be a good value play. There's obviously no getting around that. But if that's the only payoff they have, then we won't complain, right? Expedition map was obviously really clutch for them. So we could face everything from Thragtusk to Ugin here as far as payoffs go. Karn liberated. Yep. It's a good one too. Okay, exiling Goyf. Sure. Think we're just bolting Karn. Makes it harder for us to fight through the Thragtusk, but Bob cannot take down the Karn on the crackback, so... Alright. We draw land, we draw a threat. How good is Hex Drinker? So obviously we can play Hex Drinker, we can make it level 3, and then if we draw another untapped land, we can make it 6/6 pro everything. That might actually be worth doing, rather than playing like Bob plus Wrenn and 6, which is better value, but... I mean, Hex Drinker kind of forces them to find a couple more specific ways to deal with it, maybe. This is a tough call. Another part of me wants to just crack the peatland and dig for a Thoughtseize. They might have only Thragtusk as a payoff, and in that case, we would be immensely rewarded for digging, but with all this gas in hand, that's a very, very bad use of our turn if we don't hit exactly Thoughtseize. Like, we could crack peatland, Thoughtseize, play a Hex Drinker, that'd be great. We don't hit Thoughtseize, that's pretty poor, so... I guess we're going with the best clock we can assemble, which is going to be Hex Drinker, level up to 3 pass. All right. Oh no, Blast Zone. That is rough. Well, at least we didn't play Bob and Wrenn in 6, right? Because that would be much worse. They're just immediately zoning away Hex Drinker, and then they got enough for Thragtusk. Yeah, it's a really good turn, not gonna lie. So, what are we drawing to now? At least we're seeing 2 cards per turn. Unfortunately, they're just both lands. Okay, do we crack Peatland here? Because we're a little bit more desperate right now than we were last turn. And also we can buy it back with Wrenn and 6, which is good value, but the game might not last long enough for us to get a ton of value, but in any case, let's begin there, I suppose. Nothing in our hand lines up particularly well against the Thrag Daddy. Blackcleave Cliffs, and here comes the Flood. Alright, well, I do not like our odds any longer. Didn't really like our odds that much from the moment I saw the turn 1 Urza's Mine, to be honest, but... We'll buy back the peatland and I suppose play the cliffs. But now we are in a defensive posture against Tron with Tron assembled, so... Needless to say, we're pretty done for here. Sylvan Scrying. For a tower. And we're back on Ugin mana, but the payoff appears to be lacking. And they are attacking Wrenn and 6, so... I think we're actually going to let Wrenn and 6 go and lean on the Bob here. Liliana the Veil. Nice. Okay, we're going to Edict, we're going to push. We're going to play another Cliffs. All right, once again, we're cold to many, many top decks, but that gives us the best. This is now more actively forcing them to find a great top deck, rather than just the Thragtusk would kind of have won the game on its own before much longer. So Liliana was a good find. Another Sylvan Scrying, okay. Maybe they get the Sanctum this time. No, just more towers, huh? Okay. No more utility lands to find, perhaps. Oh no, Karn the Great Creator. No! Alright, well, there you have it, folks. There you have it, and that explains getting the another Urza's land. Is this another Sylvan Scrying? Okay. There's the Sanctum. Sure. All right. It's all beginning to make sense. Hex Drinker. Hex Drinker, you don't look so good in gray or silver. All right. Does the opponent have a way to protect Karn the Great Creator? I can only assume so, otherwise they would have gotten a different... Yeah, okay. You got us. The lock. The lock is real. Okay, there's Tron for you. The great mid-range killer and a big attraction to playing straight-up Golgari rather than Jund. Jund is not strictly worse. Of course, it does have some nice upsides like a quicker clock and like the lightning bolt to, finish off a Karn that had ticked down like we saw early in that game. But overall, without Fields of Ruin, it is definitely not as nice of a matchup. I really don't mind seeing it when I'm on Rock, but a little bit of a different story here. But we've got some good stuff to bring in. Ghost Quarter, very mean alongside Wrenn and 6 when repeatedly looped. Fulminator Mage, of course. Collector Oof is definitely gonna make the Tron player cry some of the time. Non-zero amount of the time, Tron players will be crying. I guess Ancient Grudge is pretty good. Of the things I'm not used to seeing, Ancient Grudge seems good. I don't think we want Chandra. I know we don't want Anger. So, yeah, we've got a lot to do. And I'm definitely used to having a lot more cards to bring out. Usually 4 Fatal Pushes, not just 1. So I'm usually trimming like Scoos and Brutality. Of course, we don't have those, so I guess we're going to say goodbye to the Plague Man. Maybe say goodbye to Seasoned Pyromancer. And Wrenn and 6, I think we're maybe supposed to leave them all in just because of the Ghost Quarter synergy, but what else is not the greatest here? Because we've got 8 cards to bring in. We might have to trim W6. And we might have to actually trim away on some bolts. Okay, what if we go down on 1 Wrenn and 6? I still definitely want to see the card. Helps you curve out. The Ghost Quarter loop is insane. Just very good in general with the Liliana plan, which is another thing I hope to see. So we'll cut a Wrenn, and are we just cutting all the bolts? Alright, Seasoned Pyromancer is something that could be trimmed, right? Let's trim around the edges. We'll cut a Pyro, we'll cut 3 bolts, call it good. Sure it could be better, right? Sure it could be better, but let's go with that. Seems respectable. I don't like to go too low on threats. You can get there against Tron if you disrupt well enough with some pretty average threats, right? But We'll play first. So our curve is Inquisition into Bob into Pyro with no land destruction and none of our sideboard hate. Is this good enough? I think it might actually be specifically because on the play Inquisition is going to stop them from assembling Tron unless they just have natural Tron. Dark Confidant on turn 2 means between his double draw and between the Pyromancer loot, we have really good chances of hitting hate pieces by, that can be in play by turn 4. Or even turn 3 with the Bob double draw, so I'm going to keep. I would call this maybe a borderline keep in the matchup, but you will have to let me know, my friends, as always, what you think. The mulligan. Okay, the mulligan makes our Inquisition better. Okay. Staying at 6. Okay, so they have double Power Plant. They have Ugin the Ineffable. Relic of Progenitus, we don't care directly about that because we're not leaning on Goyf, but it is a very, very annoying card. But I think we need to take Star to shut off Sylvan Scrying, so sure. But I'm not happy about leaving that Relic. But, we're going to be beating with an army of weenies, basically. They found another Star. Well, maximum punishment for us. Another Inquisition. Alright. I guess we have to take the Sylvan Scrying now, don't we? But putting off Bob here really, really, really sucks. Alright, so it's going to be interesting decision next turn. Yeah, they crack the Star looking for a different land to play. Obviously, they don't want to go 2 Power Plants, but they will if they have to. Chromatic Sphere, Power Plant. Cracking Sphere immediately. Did they find Ancient Stirrings? No, it's just a Relic. Okay. You know what I'd like to draw as a Fulminator Mage? Tarmogoyf. Okay. So do we rate Spyro or Bob more highly? I'm not going to play the Goyf because they've got a Relic on the field. Alright, let's play the Spyro. We're going to look for hate cards. We're going to pitch Goyf in a land. Surgical. Okay, so no good surgical targets. There are 2 unknowns in hand. So, of course, we want even more to draw some of our hate cards now, but okay, so they immediately crack the Relic, desperately looking for another land, one assumes. That's it. Alright, we didn't have that much to do with them losing. Nah, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. Sorry, let me wind that back. Inquisition of Kozilek won that game. Turn 1 Inquisition, and I guess the decision to go Inquisition on turn 2 rather than play the Bob won the game too. So, yeah, let's wind that back. Our discard won the game. Our progression was a little bit all over the place. We didn't present a very scary clock, but hey, we did it. So, on the draw, does anything change? Is there anything we desperately want back? We cut these cards, trimming around the edges, and we, of course, cut Lightning Bolt as well, and Push and Plague Man can just stay out, I guess, but any desire for more bolts or, higher numbers of any of these cards? I don't think so. I think I like where we are. Okay, cool. So we snuck a game off of Tron. This is going to be a harder one, though. We are on the draw here. Opponent with a quick maul. I think we should maul this one, too. I think we should really maul this one, too. Okay, this hand leans heavily on Ancient Grudge. But I think it's a keep. And I guess we're bottoming a Blackcleave Cliffs here. With the Grudge hand, of course, we'd really want to be on the play. Let's hope they don't have turn 1 map. They don't. Beautiful. Okay. So we get to jam Hexdrinker here. Urza's Miners' Power Plant Relic. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, Inquisition. Ugh. Think we're pretty priced into using that. But I don't have to be happy about it. Oblivion Stone, Sylvan Scrying, and they just have Natural Tron. Okay then. You don't need a map when you have Natty Tron. So, yeah, take the payoff. Level up this guy and put you on a 10-turn clock, I guess. It is the good thing about this is it's relatively likely assuming they don't just top deck a bomb, relatively likely they'll be cracking the relic super aggressively in search of payoff. Or not. What on earth? What am I supposed to make of that? Really, I don't know what to make of that at all. They have Mind Scrying 1 unknown in hand. Why wouldn't they crack Relic, even if it was to find, like, a Walking Ballista as a 3/3 to kill Hexdrinker before we level him up? I don't know, but I also don't see any real reason not to just level up the Hexdrinker. Like, I want them to crack the Relic before I play the Goyfs, right? But I also don't want to spend my Grudge. Yeah, whatever. We're just leveling this guy all the way up. I also don't want to spend my Grudge for the negative value that targeting Relic would bring. I mean, maybe they just have Ugin in hand or something. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't crack Relic. Just, again, looking for Walking Ballista or some other, another Oblivion Stone to get in under discard. But, again, maybe they just have... Wow. I don't think they have a payoff in hand. They've got the Scrying now that they can cast, but that's not a payoff. Okay. We still know about the Mine in hand. 2 unknowns. Blast Zone, yeah, that's a good one, but they already played their land for turn. Looks like a little, missequencing to me if I'm not mistaken, but could be wrong. So the opponent's got Blast Zone for Hexdrinker. I've also got Blast Zone for Goyfs and Wrenn and 6s. So here's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to play out a Goyf and a Wrenn and 6 here. Give them some tough decisions with that Blast Zone. Obviously, as always, soft to a top-decked bomb, but nothing we can do about that. I realize that my fetching here is probably not great. Doesn't matter much as far as I can tell, but it also felt a little bit extraneous to just fetch and shock yet again. So now they can Blast Zone away the Hex Drinker, but they've got other problems. And if they don't, we can, of course, give it pro everything, but they will. All right. Inquisition, huh? Well, we can do everything while Inquisitioning that's in our hand if we want to, so let's just do that, even though I expect it to whiff. Pulse of Marasa, okay. And a bunch of Tron lands, sure. Alright, now we probably want to get a third black source, I guess. All right. Does the opponent top deck an out? They top deck a redraw. Okay. It's actually not a bad one because now they can cast a Thragtusk in addition to being able to cast all the usual bombs. But do they have it on top or do we get there? Do we get there? We got there. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Who needs Field of Ruin when you have, I don't know, none of the red cards were all that impressive here, as it turns out. You know, good value from Wrenn and 6, good value from Seasoned Pyromancer, but really, discard spells won us that match. And the clock provided by Tarmogoyf. It might also have been correct, by the way, to just jam 2 Tarmogoyfs there, but I think that makes their Blast Zone decision a lot easier, and, you know, who knows, I was kind of splitting the difference by going Goyf plus Wrenn, plus having the Hex Drinker on board that would get to mini Progenitus status on the following turn. And we've lost all 3 die rolls. This hand looks good. Opponents are mulling left, right, and center, though. I will admit to being just fine with that, my friends. Just fine with it. I need it. They know I need the handicap because I'm not in my comfort zone. And to be fair, none of them have gone below 6. So, ooh, some kind of a mirror match, I assume. Yeah. Oh, the literal mirror. The Jund mirror. Wrenn and 6. Yep. Okay, yeah, we don't care yet because they have no value out of it, unlike ours. And I think we're going to play our own Wrenn and 6 because I don't want to play a Liliana out into, or a creature out into a potential Liliana. Oh, okay, the Jund mirror, guys. I mean, the Jund mirror is just going to make me look bad. I'm afraid it's probably going to be pretty bad, but we're going to give it our best shot. We have a great hand. I mean, there is that going for us. Hey, we made the same play, but we actually got card advantage out of it. Feels good. Scoos. And no third land? Yeah, this is pretty good for us, guys. Pretty good. So, what is our preferred method of killing the Scoos? We could bolt it, then play a Goyf. Or we could just get our Liliana down. I think we're just going to get the Lily down. Okay, their Wrenn ticks down to kill our Liliana. Tarmogoyf. Alright, Bloodbraid Elf, I believe, is our play here. Just about any Cascade hit should be decent. That's one of the worst ones. Sure, let's just Bolt Wrenn, I guess. Yeah, we had other options. We could have gone Goyf. We could have, you know, done any number of other things, but we're curving out and they're not, and plus we're still ahead on cards due to the Wrenn and 6 insane value. Okay, there goes W6 with an Abrupt Decay. Unfortunately, we're extremely flooded. Am I willing to trade... Nah, I don't think we need to do that, so... Let's just bolt their Wrenn. It's going to make the world safe for our Dark Confidant. If they have another one, that's annoying, but... If they don't, then they've got they've got the Bob to answer, among other things. But yeah, our Flood has been a little bit rough. Our Cascade wasn't very good. And it's also possible I should simply have bolted the Scoos and played a creature rather than play our Liliana. Jeez Louise, huh? Lots and lots of Flood. Alright, well, we're just going wide, I guess. We'll hit our action soon enough. That one Tarmogoyf is holding us off like crazy, though. Kolagin's Command in the opponent's hand. Another Goyf, sure. Alright, so we have 3 shock lands left and 1 basic. I guess we're getting our green ones first in case of a Scoos discovery off the top of the deck with these 3 draws. Let's hope they're not too painful. Lightning Bolt, Seasoned Pyromancer, Abrupt Decay. Those are some pretty good draws. Some painful ones, though. No question about it. I'm just going to attack with absolutely everything. Well, let's just decay one right out of the gates, I guess. Yeah, alright. Nothing the opponent can really have game one. Our curve out was great, theirs was not. We had a couple moments where it was less than optimal, to be sure. And again, maybe I shouldn't have played the Liliana on turn 3. Maybe giving her up to the Wrenn ping was a little bit too loose. I was just kind of living in expectation with my early sequencing that the opponent would hit their third land, and that's why I didn't want to play out a creature, and that's why that's why I did what I did, basically, but maybe we should have just made them have the third land. Clearly they were not getting it anytime soon. So, obviously, I think a lot of the same metrics apply, like siding out discard spells, probably trimming a fast land. These are things I like to do on Rock that I'm sure are still good on Jund and against Jund. But what I'm not sure about is whether the presence of stuff like Plague Man and Wrenn 6 and maybe Liliana the Last Hope, are there just too many predators out there for Dark Confidant? Obviously, he's very good in the matchup, but a lot of ways these days against Jund specifically that he can die without, at negative value. And is there anything else in our deck that we don't like? I frankly don't know how to rate Lightning Bolt against the mirror. Not a Jund player, what can I say? But I guess we'll put a Bolt over here in the Bob pile to keep in consideration. But so things that are decent: Fulminator Mage, Nile Spellbomb, Chandra is great, Liliana is great, Plague Man is pretty great, and nothing else particularly looks that appealing. So, hey, if we've only got these 6 cards to bring in, then I guess we're just leaving in Bobs and Bolts. Would we rather leave a discard spell in than that land? I think the answer to that is yes on the draw. So let's bring in these 6, and we're going to leave an Inquisition of Kozilek in our deck. Yeah, seems all right. And maybe Thoughtseize is better than Inquisition as the one of discard spell. I simply don't know. Opponent mulligans, we'll keep. The hand needs a little help, but it's a keep. We don't like to mulligan in this matchup. Opponent will go to 5. Oh boy, this is our lucky day, guys. This is our lucky day with all these mulligans. I've been winning a lot on Rock with the opponent just staying at 7. Just like all game, every game, they're keeping 7. But here they're rolling out the red carpet for us. Opponent left discard in 2. That doesn't break my heart to know. It could have been that they only leave in 1 or maybe 2 or whatever. But, at least they're fortunate enough to see it in the opener. They take Fulminator Mage. Well, there's your sign. Yeah. A land light hand for the OP. Stomping Ground, slightly awkward to have drawn another red-green land, but I won't complain about hitting the lands with this hand after the opponent's mull. W6. Alright. This card could unmull them if they ever find... Ooh, Chandra. If they ever find a fetch land to keep buying back. We're going to run out the Wooded Foothills. We're going to do so for a couple reasons. Number one, in case we need to Fatal Push this turn, we can do that. Number two, we can go fetch for a black land, and then if we... So the opponent is curving out with lands, and they have a Wrenn and 6, so now I don't know why they took the Fulminator, but maybe the W6 was a draw off the top or something. But as I was saying, this also allows us to play Liliana this turn if we get the black land, which we don't. And I'm actually disinclined. I would be disinclined to play the Lily anyway, I think, because we don't want to tick up, because our hand's great, and they could just have more lands in hand. So it's going to be either Plague Man or Hex Drinker, and I guess I'm just going to go with the Hex Drinker. We'll save the Plague Man for when he comes down to kill something, hopefully. And we are light enough on lands that I definitely just want to use all my mana this turn, even though it doesn't get us anywhere right here, right now. You know, they can tick down to ping it with Wrenn and 6. That's fine with me. Don't want them to get the value of the tick up if they find a land. They didn't. It's just a Tarmogoyf. Sure, so now Black Cleave Cliffs. Alright. So we're in Chandra territory, we're in Liliana territory. I'm still going to be a little bit greedy and hold on to the Plague Man. And, you know, I'm just like, maybe that was just awful, right? Maybe that was just awful to play out the Hex Drinker there. Maybe I should have just played the Plague Man and not been so greedy about my thing and not assumed they're going to top deck lands to buy back with a Wrenn and 6. Alright, Inquisition, sure. We'll push your Goyf. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was for sure a mistake, my bad, guys. The Jund colors. Uncertain territory. Okay, there goes our Liliana. So, is it time to just throw out the Bloodbraid Elf here? I suppose it is. Okay. A Wrenn and 6 of our very own. How lovely. If they've got Bolt, they can Bolt before we get priority here, if that's their choice. You know, that might be what they're thinking about right now. It's not. Alright, I like just taking our value here. Yep, they're going to protect the Wrenn and 6, sure. Or their Wrenn and 6, excuse me. Yep. We can attack next turn with Raging Ravine if that's the best play. So we've got ways to pressure this thing before it ults. But that might be their plan anyway. Ooh, a land. Oh, they're going to pressure our Wrenn and 6, so we're going to be trading off Wrenns and 6s. Fair enough. And I guess we're not technically going to get theirs, are we? Not quite. Unless we draw a kill spell, of course. We don't. Alright, so we could play Chandra, tick up, play a Plague Man. Then next turn it becomes very easy to animate Raging Ravine among other things. But part of me feels that we really have to make sure the Wrenn and 6 doesn't ult because we are fairly far ahead. So I'm just going to attack now. Alrighty, well, opponent's Raging Ravine is something we do need to answer. Sooner than later. And our hand is a little awkward against it, but the opponent is not drawing much. We draw a Spyro. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that draw. Definitely happy to pitch Bob. It feels very loose to pick Chandra. But what can we do with Chandra? So we play the Chandra for 4, we add 2 mana. Then I think we actually have to pitch the Chandra. We need this Death Touch on the field. From the Plague Man. Alternatively, we just attack the Wrenn in 6, but then we're getting dangerously low on life. It is Jund. They've got bolts and blood braids. We're probably just supposed to play out our creatures this turn. So, all right, we're gonna let Chandra go by the wayside. I don't know if there's a way I could have avoided this with better sequencing earlier. Probably. Wouldn't doubt it, but... Okay, we draw a trophy. It's actually pretty cool. But the problem is if we... Yeah, you know what? I think we have to actually trophy the Wrenn in 6. Because otherwise they're just going to buy it back. Alright. Plague Man gets put off for 1 turn, but we've got nice chump blockers on the field, and we've still got more gas than the opponent. It actually might be correct here to chump with Spyro so we can use his ability from the graveyard. What did the opponent find? Looks like another land with how swiftly they move to attacks there. Yeah, let's do that. Opponent's flooded. Unfortunate for the OP. We draw a Goyf. Nice draw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can play Goyf and flashback the Pyros tokens, and then that's a way to mob block the Ravine. Alternatively, you know, that does risk getting blown out. So we can just... you know, like if they top deck a Fatal Push, for instance, or a Trophy or a Decay, then we throw away our entire board trying to get the Ravine off the field. So maybe we are just going to chump block that thing forever. And we are still... okay, what's this? Lily of the Veil, sure. Getting our Plague Man out of the hand, that's pretty good. I halfway expected them to start trying to chew through our board with that. Bloodbraid Elf, geez, our top decks have been great. Not gonna lie. Yep. Let's roll the dice. Lightning Bolt, sure. Bolt your Lily. So this thing's going to be a 7/7 next time it attacks. It's a 6/6 right now. So let's just get their Lily gone. Another land for the opponent. Lucky us, lucky us. We draw Skoos. My goodness. Our draws have been very nice, my friends. So if we attack all out, they're going to eat the Skoos. They're going to eat the Goyf. They're probably going to call our bluff. That's going to get 6 damage across. Put them to 12. I don't think that's worth it. I think we're just going to continue letting our board be massive here. And Skoos will eventually be big enough to outsize the ravine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to eat. Well, not quite yet. Maybe we do have to start attacking. Wrenn and 6. That punishes us fairly hard for not attacking last turn, because now they can just start pinging our elementals off the field. Or just buying back lands. Fair. Leave that Fulminator in there for now in case we top deck a way to buy it back this turn. Blackcleave Cliffs is not it. So, Raging Ravine, when it attacks it gets a counter, so it's going to be a 6/6 right now. So we've got a safe attack with the Ooze. I'm going to attack the opponent here. I don't care much about the W6. Well, shoot, yes I do. Because of course that can buy back the... Where am I? Hold on. Hold on. You know, I think we might actually need a big attack though here. Yeah, I'm going to send... We need to get this Wrenn off the field. They can eat our Bloodbright Elf is really the best they can do. Which doesn't bother me. Okay, that's why I sandbag this Blackcleave Cliffs. Doesn't advance anything else on our board. Very bad top deck for the opponent. Punished for leaving the discard in, but perhaps does not have enough to do otherwise. Okay, opponent's seen enough. Wow, okay, sweet. Well, we got pretty lucky there. Our opponent mulled to 5. They failed to curve out in game 1. Feels bad when you're on the receiving end of that, and I am sure my play was not terribly optimized, but hey, you know what? We're 3-0, guys. The luck of the draw, the luck of the noob is with us. We're 3-0. I'm going to get up quick. I'll be right back. And I'm back, my friends. Back for round 4. I don't know what it is. I felt like my Jund play, my first time ever out, this being the second, was pretty bad at the time. But then I looked back and was like, yeah, maybe one or two stumbles, maybe I'm playing a little slower, but I think it was actually pretty fine in my first league. So it's possible that I'm having a similar experience here where just because I have to think about things that are otherwise second nature in my main deck, that it feels like I'm playing bad left, right, and center. It's possible, but I actually think I am playing worse this time. I think, for example, just playing the Liliana, edicting into the Wrenn in 6, the more I think back on that, the more that was incorrect. But we didn't get punished for it badly enough to lose, but we probably would have had a more comfortable win had I not done that, for example. So it just goes to show you the variance in Magic, right? Like, we've been given some pretty serious advantages here. I have not ruthlessly capitalized on them as a very experienced Jund player might, but the deck is powerful, guys. The deck's real. Green-black X decks in general right now, I feel, are absolutely underrated. I often, more often than not, I do feel this way, but especially now, especially now. And we are 3-0. Feels great. And hope you're all enjoying this. It's probably rather funny for those of you who are my regular viewers. I think I generally bring you a pretty high level of play on this channel with The Rock. To see me, kind of floundering here, but it's a fun change of pace, and it's a good reward for our supporters to play their list through a league and hopefully not do too badly. And so far, we've at least cashed the league. We've at least gone positive, despite my, at times, best efforts not to. And hey, we won a die roll. What's our hand like? Well, it's a pretty good one. We'll keep it. Alright, so it's a change of pace. The opponent's not mulling, and we're on the draw. Two things we haven't really seen much of today. Thoughtseize you. Another mirror. Okay, so. What do we do? What do we care about? Do we just take the Pyro here? They can cast everything in their hand. They've got a really good hand, just like us. Really nice balanced hand. I think we're just taking the Pyro. Everything in their hand that remains is a 1-for-1. So, in theory, our Bloodbraid Elf is right now the Symmetry Breaker, assuming we, of course, get that 4th land. Alright, well, at least now I can not say I've never played the Jund Mirror, so now there are fewer excuses for me to mess up. Opponent takes away that ooze. We draw another Cliffs. Yeah, I'm just going to run out the Hexy. There are alternative sequences in which we'd sandbag this to try to play around their stuff, but they know our whole hand. They have a plethora of removal. It's worse if we try to get too cute with it and they have a Liliana of the Veil to edict it away by the time we finally play it. Like, I think I'm just fine trading this away for a push. Even though in a lot of situations that card is a pretty significant mirror breaker. Alright, opponent's got 2 unknowns in hand. We're starting to flood out, so that's not good. But we do at least know we've got the Bloodbraid Elf next turn. Unless they draw Thoughtseize. Tarmogoyf. I don't mind that. That means if we cascade into removal, it's good. So, sure. Or we could just draw removal, that's cool too, but I'm going to go with the Bloodbraid. Lightning Bolt, awkward. Awkward, awkward, awkward. Alright, we'll go upstairs. At least we've got removal in hand. It's helpful. Hey, they answer back with a bolt of their own. Fair enough. So, trophy, 2 unknowns. Scoos. Alright, so they only have 1 green source, but there are a lot of things to eat. Hey, we don't have to choose. We have our cake and we eat it too. Nice. Nice. So let's push the Scoos before they get to untap. And then we can afford to hang on to this decay, maybe bait out discard or Liliana +1 if they find her. But our life total's on the low side, so I'm not going to get so cute that I'm going to take the hit. Obviously, there's a lot of follow-ups they could have that, you know, punish us a bit for this, but Wrenn and 6 with nothing to buy back. I'm still going to play it because it is game 1, and they might have discard spells that we don't want to turn on by leaving a sorcery speed card in hand. So now we know how our opponent felt last round. Taking up, nothing to buy back. Pretty poor, but it's going to get us a land anyway, because here comes that trophy. And we are very low on green, so let's get a forest. Opponent's got the inevitability of getting the Pyromancer value once they hit 5 lands, but doesn't look like they really are. Unfortunately, that means they've got a lot of gas in hand. They've got a Wrenn of their own, once more, nothing to buy back. How odd. How odd. Overgrown Tomb. Alright, we'll sandbag that one. Feels like they've got discard in hand. Yep. Bloodbraid Elf, nice draw. Very nice draw. What will we hit this time? Hex Drinker, sure. I'm going to put that thing straight to 3 if I can. Playing around the Wrenn and 6. They could have Bolt or whatever in hand, but we'll attack Wrenn. And now the opponent needs to answer Hex Drinker before it becomes level 8. And they're just going to scoop. Wow, guys. The luck is on our side in these mirrors, not going to lie. The opponent never got double black that game, much less got onto their 4th land. Our top decks were okay, but the opponent didn't have all that much going on. So, all right. Well, we are stumbling our way through some victories here. Let's see if we can remember how we sideboarded. We like the Chandra. Fulminators were in the mix. Plague Man, Liliana, and Nile Spellbomb. Nothing else particularly appeals, and that's right, we had 6 to come in and 7 to come out, so we left in an Inquisition, which I'm still not sure whether that should be a Thoughtseize or not, but here we go. We'll run it back just like this. Opponent likes their 7, And I suppose we do too. We will keep. So now, like, Hexdrinker on turn 1 on the draw is a little bit sketchy against a potential Wrenn 6, isn't it? Opponent leaving in the discard. No, they're... Okay, Hexdrinker of their own. Fair. Totally fair. I think it's correct to make them have their Wrenn 6. We want to curve out. We want the early pressure. Don't have W6. And then we want to draw the W6 of our own. It's hilarious because I don't think the card would be anywhere near as good in the mirror if Hexdrinker was not also tech that's been adopted. Oh no, do they have it? Do they have it? No, it's a Scooz. Alright, we can beat that. No attack. What does that mean? You would think a trade for them would be fine because they have the Scooz to clean things up, but maybe they just want to be the first one to level up to 3. And to be fair, that's pretty good. If they have something else to do, we can get them with Plague Man real bad next turn. But that's a fairly big if. So I think we're going to play Tarmogoyf, and I guess we're obligated to fetch if we do so. And I guess it is fine to get a Forest here, because we have a Cliffs in hand, and a Mire in hand. And no need for red anyway at the exact moment. I'm also not going to trade because, you know, I want to respect the possibility of Liliana. I also want to give myself that window to name Snake with Plague Man and blow them out. Looks like there might be a Liliana in our future. In our immediate future, I should say. No, it's just the big snake, huh? It's just the big old snake. Well, we actually cannot answer that with our hand. Ooh, attacking with both, huh? Alright. I'm going to trade with their Scooz. Obviously, I know how good Hexdrinker is, but I don't feel we'll have the luxury to level it up. And this is going to make our Goyf more relevant. Lightning Bolts. Pretty bad draw against Pro Instance. I really wish we had drawn Liliana. Now what? Lots to consider here. A second Goyf, but that's very bad against Maelstrom Pulse. It also doesn't really beat Hexdrinker over the course of 2 more turns. Plague Engineer stops the Hexdrinker attack and puts them on the back foot, but again is not a permanent answer to Hexdrinker. I guess I'm just playing another Goyf. If they have the pulse, they have the pulse. And am I erasing? I think I actually am, simply because it's so likely that they have a way to blow out our double block. We still have the out of Liliana of the Veil if they play another creature that can die to our bolt. Or if they don't play another creature at all. Inquisition. Sure, we just let that resolve, I guess. Yeah, Hexdrinker dodges most removal in Jund. And with us only on 3 Lilianas, we are a little bit soft to this card. You know, assuming they are on the play with it turn 1 and we can't answer it before it becomes level 3. Yeah, it's an issue. It's a real issue. If we were on the play, of course, Plague Man takes care of it at card advantage. Wrenn 6 is obviously a good answer to it as well. Goyfs are massive now, so that's cool. We got instant and sorcery in the yard. So is this now going to be Liliana? Sure is, huh? Sure is. Yeah. It's pretty good. I don't think we're bolting here. Nice. Beautiful. That's exactly what we were in the market for. Taking care of the Hexy. Taking care of the opposing Liliana. Now, it's far from over. They've still got 2 cards in hand, up to 3 now. You know, they could have another Liliana, then that might be an issue, but we answered Hexdrinker. That was step 1. Raging Ravine. Okay, we definitely need to hold up Lightning Bolt to hit that. Tarmogoyf. Okay. Another thing that Lightning Bolt could be good against. Yeah, we definitely have to put Lily back to 2. Definitely just pitching the Catacombs. And I believe we've got to run out the Plague Man as well. Ooh, they've got a Bolt. Okay. Brutal. So, Plague Man naming Snake might be our best bet. Don't know how many Hexdrinkers they're on. Plague Man naming Lurgoyf breaks the symmetry of Tarmogoyf, but Lightning Bolt already does that. I think I'm going to name Snake. Obviously, naming Human for Dark Confidant is pretty good, too. But who would have believed you before Modern Horizons came out that you're like, yeah, I've got an engineered plague on a stick that has Death Touch, and in the Jund Mirror, I'm going to name Snake with it because that's just the best play. Like, would have been a little bit hard to believe, but here we are. Oh, and we're max punished. All right, so of course now I want to bolt the Bob, but I guess we're going to untap and hope we draw like Wrenn 6 or some other reason not to bolt the Bob. Fatal Push. Sweet. Do we just take care of their whole board and race? Feels a little sketchy against Raging Ravine, but I'm going to do it. That was a nice draw. I should also have fetched last turn. I'm just used to leaving that uncracked on a rock. I was deep in thought. What'd the opponent find? Plague Man! Oh no, the Plague Man cometh. What's he gonna name? Naming Tarmogoyf means he can actually afford to take a hit there. They named Snake as well. Oh, that's just very amusing. Alright, I guess we're getting Stomping Ground here. – Another Goyf. Cool. All right, let's attack. Our top deck has been kind to us, my friends. No question about it. Opponent's finding some more and more stuff, though. Oh my goodness, Seasoned Pyromancer. Oh, I really hope they bricked on that, on those two. Dark Confidant. All right, the game goes on, huh? Wow. What a top deck. Our top deck is a little less impressive. So... oh. If we only attack with Goyf... oh, man. All right. Gotta game this one out. So if we only attack with Goyf, they're pretty priced into chumping with Bob, right? You know, they're priced into chumping with Bob. If we attack with both, they're pretty happy to block with both, because then they get to flashback the Pyro. They got the Raging Ravine on an empty board. It might be, is it correct to sit back here? Is it correct to sit back and hope the Bob trigger kills them? And they don't have great attacks. Yeah, I'm going to sit back. Now, here's the other question. What do we gain and what do we lose by running out the tomb? I think I'm going to sandbag it. I think the information is pretty valuable here. All right, let's put our faith in Dark Confidant just killing the opponent. Come on, Bob. No, it's a forest. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, that's so bad. I still kind of like the line, though, but we wanted them to take some damage here. I'm taking this hit. Still think this might be our most realistic win condition. Besides just top decking Lightning Bolt. That'd be cool too. Abrupt Decay. Alright. Now what do we do? Because if we decay the Pyro and just get in, they still don't take lethal because they can chump with Raging Ravine. So I guess we pass. They might be priced into kind of an all-out attack, and we can maybe use Decay to survive it. Or Bob will just kill them here. Reveal Seasoned Pyromancer, that is it. Greatness at any cost. Greatness for the opponent, though. Oh my goodness, guys. That was cool. That was cool. All right, I like that line. I like the line of staying back against the Bob. Obviously, there are ways we could get punished for it if they had hit removal, seeing 2 cards per turn. But they didn't have that big of a window to do so because there was every chance they would die before they could even cast it by the time 2 triggers had resolved. And that's exactly what happened. They took 0 on the first, 3 on the second, and we did it, guys. We take down the mirror twice. 2-0, 2-0. And I'm not... I think that was my best match. I think that was my best match. I think that's the only one where I didn't notice a mistake of this league. Doesn't mean I didn't make one. It just means I didn't notice one, but doesn't matter. Getting there. Look at this, Domenico. I did not punt your league away. I tried to, but the game wouldn't let me. The game's just saying, no, you just take the win. Just take the win. And we're like, all right, I guess if you're going to twist our arms. So, feels good, guys. And do we dare to dream? Do we dare to even speak it out loud? What our result would be if we have another W here in match 5? That would be pretty hilarious. Not gonna lie. That would make me question everything. But either way, no matter what happens here, I hope you're having fun watching this. And I'm having fun. I'm glad that we have succeeded thus far in the league, and let's bear down here, let's focus, and let us do our best here in round 5. Won the die roll. All right. 3 lands. It's a little light on interaction, but I believe this to be a keep. And I'm this inexperienced with Jund. I don't know what the correct land here is to play on turn 1. Do we run out Verdant Catacombs to like start fetching early and thin out early, and in case they have turn 1 Blood Moon? I don't know if it's better to do that or to play a shock land. Opponent has mulliganed. Whatever, let's just do that. Stomping Ground would have been maybe the most misleading land to play. Blood Crypt, are we just in mirrors all day? Alright, well, I'm going to get a tomb here. Lightning Bolt. Alright, here's the Goyf. Well, if this is a mirror, I'm pretty happy to be on the play with the opponent having mulliganed. And if they play a creature turn 2, I'll be even happier. Something that gets cleanly edicted by Liliana, that is. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay, this, I guess, is maybe Mardu Pyromancer. Don't quote me on that, but either way, it's something that's a good edict target. Especially if it's Pyro with their, you know, go-wide token strategy. Liliana might not have many better use cases. Thoughtseize is interesting, though, because we can go Thoughtseize and Bolt the Arcanist, but let's Edict. Lots of grindy matches today. I was, you know, obviously the less experienced you are with a deck, the simpler... the happier you are to see the simpler games, because they punish your inexperience the least, right? Thunderkin Awakener, 1/2 haste. Wow, is this some kind of elemental tribal? Unearthing the Arcanist. Okay. So I think I'm pretty happy to have a relatively mana inefficient turn here and not play a Spyro. I think I want a Thoughtseize here. And that will let me decide which one I need to bolt. Getting a Spyro out of their hands, that's pretty cool. And a couple Canopy lands, so they're going to be hitting the gas pedal hard. I think I consider the Arcanist to be more of a threat, but that might not be an assumption made with full knowledge of what the opponent's up to. Zombie Wizard, Human Shaman. So far we haven't seen other elementals. Oh, well, they ripped Lightning Skelemental off the top. That's terrifying. And that's so good with Thunderkin Awakener. Oh, boy. Oh, that is unbelievable. Holy moly, that's so bad. What just happened to us? What just happened to us? And we draw Inquisition. Holy crap. Well, apparently I was supposed to kill this thing. To be fair, we could not possibly have been any more unlucky, right? Oh boy. Well, we're in bad shape. Now we gotta stay back. Yeah, we had them on a nice quick clock with this Goyf, but Wow. Okay. So we go to 1 here, is that right? See a little more of their deck, I guess, maybe. Okay, so the Lightning Skelemental Thunderkin Awakener combo is a little brutal. Yep. Well, Scooz is good. I could hold this effect up, but everybody knows I'm eating the Skelemental. There's no secret about that. That was a nice top deck, but of course the opponent's got interaction. I'm not very confident, but hey, if we get to untap, who knows? Okay, Lightning Bolt will do it. Dang. Alright, so clearly if I had hit the Awakener, that would have been much different, but I think on average, just based on this, you know, they've got pushes, they've got bolts, they've got Unearth. Like, leaving the Arcanist around, I think on average punishes us more. Obviously, literal top deck of Lightning Skelemental was, like, he could not possibly punish us more. But there you go. That is what it is. So, creature cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. How much of a... Like, Grafdigger's Cage probably shuts down only that. Only the Thunderkin Awakener. Is that worth doing? I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. I'm more comfortable playing a value piece like Nihil Spellbomb for sure, that replaces itself, reduces targets for Unearth and for Dreadhorde Arcanist and all this other stuff. But I've never played against this deck before, and of course Jund is also unfamiliar to me, so it's not sure what to do. Anger seems pretty good, actually. I think we're going to play the Anger. And they're grindy enough with their pushes and so on that Chandra is probably pretty good. Like, she lines up badly against the Skelemental itself, but against the stuff without haste, she's pretty good. I think we'll play her. I think we definitely want these as well. And I don't know about Cage. I do not know. Don't think we want Surgical, though. So, 5, possibly 6 cards to bring in. And what... So, they showed us, like, their recursive value pieces are a 1-2 and a 1-3, and I think all their Toughness 1 stuff is going to have haste, so maybe Wrenn 6 is kind of bad. I think we want Liliana. I think Spyro is good. I'm leaning away from Wrenn 6 pretty hard right now, maybe just leaving 1 in as a way to keep curving out and generate value. I think most of our deck looks pretty good here, so what if we do that? We bring in 5. Grafdigger's Cage seems a little bit loose to me. Let's just cut 2 other random things. Just maybe cut our Thought Seizes, actually. I think that's pretty fine. They are extremely aggressive, after all. Any insight you guys have on this, feel free to share. Like I said, haven't played it before, and certainly don't know optimal sideboarding with Jund, but alright, here we go. Will the Elementals deny us the 5-0? Let's find out. Play first. Our hand is, I guess, good. Now, are we going... I think we might be running Scooz out, into a possible push or bolt, just because we're on the play with Lily and Deshandra. under other circumstances, if we, like, needed to lean more heavily on the Skoos, that might be a different story. Okay, Dark Confidant. That actually might change things a bit. I think that makes me want to use the Skoos as a cleanup crew. I'm more happy to trade Bob away here. I don't really know how we should be fetching optimally either. I guess we'll get Swamp for now, and then next turn we can fetch and shock if we need to. And hey, you know, if they don't have removal and we get to just curve out with Lily and Deshandra, that'd be sweet. But sure enough, Fatal Push. Ooh, okay. U number 1 is no play, and U number 2 is Wrenn and 6, huh? I think I want to save the Liliana to Edict. The big problem is they could hard cast a Lightning Skelemental next turn. That would be pretty bad. That would be awful. But like, with all of this proactive stuff to do in hand, you know, if they, whatever. I'm going to play the Wrenn and 6, make them have the Skelemental. We are mitigating the discard 2 partially with the Wrenn and 6 itself, because we're going to tick up here. But I live in fear of that Lightning Skelemental, so good against us. And it looks like they might have one, but oh my goodness gracious, this card. Oh, this card's gonna ruin everything. Yeah. Well, at least they can't get our Wrenn and 6. Oh, they do. Then we didn't have to discard 2. Wow. Alright, that paid off. That paid off. Okay, now I think I like playing Skoos. And just getting to a 4/4 main phase before they have any mana. Okay, Wrenn and 6, nice bait. If they have another Skelemental, that is what it is. You know, we can only play around so much. Is it another one? It probably is. That, you know, it makes sense that they would attack Wrenn and 6 if they had a second one in hand. Who knows what this deck plays, though? Could be Liliana of the Veil, could be anything in between. But either way, you know, in the dark, I like our Skoos play there. Uh-oh. Wind back the clock, opponent. Opponent's winding back the clock. They either tapped incorrectly or they're changing their mind. Plague Man. Okay. We can beat that with our Liliana or our Chandra. Ooh. Oh my god. I have fetched terribly. I didn't get double red, and we have 2 double red cards in hand. That is bad, guys. That is bad. Okay. You live and you learn. We get to Edict the Plague Man and eat him if we want. And do we want to, or is there a compelling reason to hold up the activation? I don't know that there is, so I'm going to eat. Okay. I really hope our failure to get the second red source doesn't come back to haunt us. Thunderkin Awakener. Okay. That would have been good against Lily or Chandra, no matter what we did, really. But it's not very good against our Skoos. Not yet, anyway. No double red is a beating, but at least we drew gas that we could play this turn, and we've still got trophy plus activation for the opponent's turn. Plague Engineer. Sure. Another one, huh? Okay, I guess we gotta trophy the Plague Man so we can keep attacking profitably. Force a chump block, hopefully, with the Thunderkin Awakener. Or we could just top deck a red land or removal and maybe win. Liliana the Last Hope. Oh, my fetching is giving the opponent a lifeline in this game. Okay, so I think we minus and play the Bob. Or maybe find something else to play. We don't. And we get a bunch of cards out of the way that are not red lands, so that's cool. If they have another Thunderkin Awakener, they get this one back, but that's not that big a deal, whatever. Play the Bob. Yeah, so they clearly didn't have removal. If we had double red, we could have killed that thing with Chandra and swung in for exactly lethal. Is this a Skelemental? No, it's a Seasoned Pyromancer. That's very good. They picked 2 Fulminator Mage. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So the game goes on. The game goes on, but if they don't have anything great to do for the rest of their turn, we're still in pretty okay shape. Unearth. Yeah, just that haste is very annoying. Do we trade off our Bob? I kind of want to. I think I do. Liliana's too valuable at mowing down these elementals and, of course, eventually buying back the Bob if the case dictates. Another Unearth for Fulmy this time. Oh, we draw a red land and it's a tapped one. Come on, come on. All right. Okay, now we're pivoting to defense for a turn. Like, they just chump without the elemental. I'd rather just block, I guess, with Skoos. Or they just chump with Seasoned Pyro, and then, you know, we can eat them, but yeah, we'll play defense for a turn. This has been a very interesting game, but we should have the win already in the bag. That said, again, our position is still pretty good. A Fatal Push changes everything. And that's probably what they're digging for right now. But again, even so, we have the good red cards in hand to stabilize. We need to fade like Fatal Push into Skelemental. That would be the disaster scenario. Well, lots of interactive games, lots of grindy games, you know. There are fears about London Mulligan making Modern a Ships in the Night format, but not on the evidence of these 5 games. Not on the evidence of this extremely small sample size. Alright, opponent went in the tank a little bit, but now what? Getting Lily off the field at all costs, huh? Alright, well, let's block Spyro. And we set a stop and damage and eat it before they get priority back. I don't remember if they played a land this turn. Maybe they haven't even played a land and that didn't matter, but it's good practice anyway. Alright, Liliana's gone. Thunderkin Awakener, second main. Sure. Alright, so we just eat the most opportune targets, which I guess at this stage of the game are just pretty much creatures. The only, like, eventually we'll eat that Fatal Push, but for now we'll just gain a bunch of life and get huge. Blackcleave Cliffs. Okay, so if we play Chandra and then add double red, we can just empty the whole hand and draw 2 for free. I guess that's pretty good. Alternatively, we could kill like a Thunderkin Awakener, but I don't think I cared to do that at the moment. Or we could go for a blind rip off the top, but let's save that for next turn. Oh no, shoot, I meant to play this Blackcleave Cliffs first. That was just like it's just a free play. Doesn't matter much, cause if it was a green land, I'd be annoyed, but it was just a free play to run that out first. I had that in mind, but, you know, speaking... Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll float green. You know, floating black might help us play things, potentially, that we find right here, right now, but we'll float green. Okay, so nothing we could have played by floating black anyway, because we don't draw a second land. So let's eat the Fulminator. And let's attack and force a chump block. Alright, our position's obviously magnificent. Decay and Bolt is just 2 really good draws at this stage of the game. And now, because the opponent fetched, they're actually dead to Pyro Connecting plus Bolt. Or Chandra Tick Up plus Bolt. Like if we choose not to cast. This card's really good. I absolutely love this promo art as well. It's definitely an annoying one to face. I'm usually on the receiving end of it, of course. But, yeah, I do like it in the sideboard of this Jund deck for sure. I think it's a good choice. Skelemental. Oh no, Skelemental. Attacking Chandra. Okay, sure. No block. Decay your thing. Swing for lethal. Okay, good game. Yeah, I think, you know, opponent didn't really have an out either way, because then I guess we just killed their thing with Chandra, so they had to assume we had nothing in hand, basically. Play for that out. Okay, guys, we're 1 win away from the 5-0. What do we do? What do we do? How was our sideboarding? Was our sideboarding good? The first time, I think it might have been. The only thing that's, like, somewhat appealing is, again, this Grafdigger's Cage, but it's such a... Like, I believe the only things we really saw was that combo. That it affects the little combo between the Thunderkin Awakener and the Skelemental, which admittedly, again, is extremely strong, but I think we could just lose 2 other things if we have, like, a cage doing nothing. And then the Wrens and 6s are also, you know, they're always at least somewhat viable, but is there anything that we like less? I think keeping in Inquisitions is fine. They have a lot of stuff that's really good when it hits the field, so... Bolts are fine. I guess Hex Drinker's good. We saw a Plague Engineer on the other side. You know, we got to be wary of that with our Confidant and with our Hex Drinker, to be honest. But I think I like it. I think I like it. And here we go, here we go. Can we scrape out a 5-0? Will our opponent mulligan into oblivion for us? Or will we have to earn it? Will we have to earn it? What do we think about this hand? It has like almost no disruption. Wrenn 6 barely counts. But it might still be a keep because Tarmogoyf might be a tough card for them to, a tough nut for them to crack. Sure. This is a value-based matchup to some degree. I'm very unwilling to mulligan. You know, there's not that much hard hate that we're mulling to or anything like that anyway, right? Is it correct to fetch Blood Crypt tapped here and then go get a Forest with the Catacombs? I'm not, again, not sure what the optimized fetching is. This time we're going to try to pay attention to double red, though, because that does matter. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one if they... Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Sure, Blood Crypt. We draw another Goyf. Alright, well, we gotta hope these Goyfs are good enough. Or do we play a Bob? I'm not gonna play a Bob, actually. Plague Man on the play is just too devastating. We'll play the Goyf and force them to answer it. Even if they do, it will grow the other Goyf, I guess. And if they do spend the turn answering it, it's hopefully not going to be... You know, hopefully they don't also develop their board around Liliana. As always, I live in fear of the Skelemental. That's just a terrifying card against us, but there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. So, let's cross our fingers, no Skelemental. If they just have kind of a value play, I'm alright with it. Okay, some kind of a 3-drop. Could just be Plague Man. Oh no, the Skelemental. Trample haste when it deals damage. That player discards 2 cards. Alright, you got us. So, we're definitely, I think, going to pitch 1 land. And it should be the fetch land. And I kind of want to pitch Wrenn 6, but Wrenn 6 kind of unwinds this clock as well. Unwinds the you know, card disadvantage. So I guess we're just going to pitch Bob instead. We draw another Bob, sure. So we get to edict this thing away with Liliana. And I guess we're just attacking, you know, there's... It's only for 2, though. Like, sitting back is pretty bad against Skelemental, but it's actually, you know, at least forces them to attack and lose their 1-2 if they rip that off the top, the 1-2 with haste. So... Yeah, we're sitting back. I don't think we can realistically erase them with a 2-3 Goyf. I think I'd rather play around their haste threats to the extent that I can. Just please no second Skelemental. That's it. Like, or I mean, they have a lot of things could be really good. They could go push into the 2-drop with haste. Whatever. You know, they're gonna have what they're gonna have. I think sitting back is fine. Feels like a Plague Man. I don't know exactly what we're hoping to draw. Might be dependent on, obviously, what they do here. A second Bob is a pretty free tick up to Liliana. Pretty free pitch to the Liliana tick up, to speak more precisely. It's been a long league and my brain is at capacity. I'll start forgetting what the English language is, perhaps. Alright, opponent is thinking this one through. I think if they had like a really good play like push into Thunderkin, they would just snap that off. Push into Unearth, into Unearth. Oh my god, that is savage. That is even worse than anything I could have possibly expected. You have got to be kidding me. That is so, so bad. Alright, we gotta just keep our Goyf and hope it's good enough. And hope they don't have anything else. Guys, we are just getting shut down here by this deck. We're not out of it, but we are on the ropes. I can't say my play deserves a 5-0, so I'm not going to have any complaints if we lose here, but at the same time, I'd really like to 5-0. So, we're still in it. We're still in it. The opponent could have a couple bricks in hand, but doesn't seem very likely now, does it? Okay, Liliana, that's just everything they need. They Edict us, they attack, they cast Unearth. Or whatever. Yeah, Liliana's a great last card. Not even last card, they've still got one more in hand. So, did they just unearth the Plaguester? They do. Yep, it's very good. Plague Man naming human. You got it. Okay. We draw Ooze. Okay. So we play Ooze and we... This is a targeted ability, so we can respond to it. It's just going to be Fatal Push that we have to eat, though. They will get to unearth the Skelemental, but that's actually a bit of a non-bow. Doesn't really do anything. Alright, this is a stay of execution for us. Assuming they don't top deck something that just kills the use or otherwise presents lethal. But obviously we need them to brick, and we need, oh boy, Spyro is the opposite of a brick. Yeah, the opponent's just been drawing great here. They've just been drawing great, and we've had the luck of the draw the entire league up until now. So again, I have no complaints whatsoever. My play here has not merited a 5-0, but the power of the deck is on full display, and we're gonna go 4-1 here, and it's gonna be a pretty strong endorsement of this Jund deck. Okay, so obviously we can trade off with the Plague Man to keep our Liliana around. Is that even any good? What are our outs? You know, it's probably better to just lean on Skoos, so we'll let the Lily go. Hope we draw an out to their Lily, basically, or another creature to sack to her. So, sure. Okay, opponent pitches a Sunbaked Canyon. Back to us. Let's eat that elemental, I guess. Alright, what do we need? What do we find? We find a Hex Drinker, so that does qualify as something we can potentially sack to Lily if they cannot kill it. So that's what we'll do. And there's no reason not to level it up a couple times, but we're pretty clearly going to sack it and keep the use around, because otherwise Arcanist with the Fatal Push value is too much. Alright, we still need an absolute miracle. We need bricks from the opponent, and we need to hit gas off the top. Not going to happen, I'm sure, but... Oh, the Spyro number 2. Spyro number 2. Okay, they lose a Thoughtseize, they make an Elemental. Life sucks. All has fallen to ruin. All has fallen to ruin. Thanks to the card Lightning Skelemental, which is just the right combination of disruption and clock to absolutely demolish a mid-range deck. Okay. Interesting attack if it's just the Plague Man. They're trying to get us to trade, and then they'll Edict with Liliana, so we just have to take the hit. And they tick up. Wow. Unexpected. But I guess they're just planning for the long term in case something really goes wrong. I'm going to eat the Fatal Push now. We draw Liliana the Veil. Can we afford to go... I mean... I think we're just dead on board if they just swing everything in. Kind of no matter what we do. Yeah. We are. But let's make him do it. We could bluff, but... Alright, time to chip away at your board. Edict your Elemental. Pass the turn. Yep, we are dead. We are very, very dead. Which is a shame. Okay, Skelemental for the win. Alright, guys, we got denied by the Skelementals here. Right at the cusp of the 5-0, but that is alright because the list that Domenico came up with here is absolutely awesome. And those of you who have seen my play on Rock, it's definitely a couple levels higher than what you just saw here. And yet, we have gone 4-1 both runs out with Jund. So we're on the right side of luck, admittedly, but the deck is just pretty sweet. The deck is just looking pretty good, if you ask me. And we didn't necessarily face matches where it's the natural predator, right? We just faced a lot of other grindy decks where kind of anything can happen. There are, you know, percentage points swinging it in one direction or the other, I'm sure. But generally speaking, it's not like... I don't think any one matchup was like, oh yeah, we're going to crush them. You know, very, very happy to see this matchup. In fact, we saw one of the boogeymen, which was Tron, and we did manage to get there. So, I hope this was a good display of the deck's raw power from kind of a unique perspective. Again, I have a pretty solid understanding of the best use cases of the green-black cards, coupled with a total lack of understanding or lack of experience with not only playing with the red cards, playing against them, and how to fetch optimally. So, kind of a funny little combination of traits here from your friendly pilot, but if nothing else, like I said, it does show the raw power of the deck. So I'm sure Domenico would welcome any feedback on the list, any tweaks, any changes you might recommend, you veteran Junders out there. And what can I say? We stumbled and bumbled our way to a 4-1. I don't want to undersell my play. I think I did have some decent sequences in places. Again, considering how really new I am to playing Jund itself. But yeah, one or two things definitely could have been better, and I do pride myself on some really tight play. We didn't have the very tightest of play here, but we had a good list. We had a lot of raw power. We had the right top decks at the right times, and then we just got by the Lightning Skelemental deck. So it was a really fun league. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you once again to Domenico for supporting this content to the extent that he qualified for a donation league, and also for letting me borrow these Wrenns and 6s, and this sweet Chandra, and a Seasoned Pyromancer, and maybe a Fetch Land as well. So thanks a bunch, buddy. Couldn't do it without you and without all other Patreon supporters. Speaking of which, if you are enjoying this content, the link is in the description below, patreon.com/GrimFlayerMTG. I am trying to kind of spearhead the way forward to the best of my ability with BG The Rock, with consistent league play, with theory videos, with heavy interaction with the community, trying to really make the best green-black list possible in the wake of the Modern Horizons set and the Hogak Vine ban. Now, from time to time, to reward our Patreon supporters and to spice it up a little bit, we will be doing things like this on this channel. I do want to keep it focused on The Rock, but hey, you know, you can't argue with the results, and we 4-1 twice with Jund now, so I'm definitely not going to be sad to play Jund again in the future, and hopefully I'll continue to get better. But you know, make sure, guys, if you like BGX content in general, stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe if you have not already done so. That does help me grow. And we've got more Rock gameplay, as always, coming up for you. And we're also doing another BGX variant, another donation league later in the month. It's looking like it's going to be Sultai Snow. So that should be really fun. You'll see me stumble probably over some lines there as well. But in any case, this was really fun. We gave 4 Wrenn and 6 a run out. It was absolutely awesome in a lot of matchups, despite not seeing really the matchups where it gets to ping a bunch of things to death. Like, we didn't play against Elves or Devoted Druid combo where there's a ton of X1s and, you know, we slow them down with other things, then Wrenn just takes over the game. We didn't even get to do that. Nor did we get to loop Ghost Quarter or get a ton of Peatland value, but nevertheless, despite suboptimal conditions, Wrenn and 6 was still really, really good. The card's the real deal. If there is any doubt remaining, let it be dispelled. The card is, as far as I can tell, a Jund staple from here on out. Seasoned Pyromancer looked really good on both sides of the table. It was very good with us and very good against us, and was decisive in a lot of matchups, including the decisive Bob Flip to have our opponent lose the game in round 4. So lots of action from Spyro. Bloodbraid Elf was pretty solid here. I considered Bloodbraid a little bit, you know, almost the MVP of my first Jund run out. Despite not seeing her all that often, she was so impactful every time I did. Here she was a little bit medium. Yeah, she was okay. Nothing great, nothing terrible. Lightning Bolt, same story. Good in spots. You know, a little suboptimal sometimes in conjunction with Bloodbraid if it couldn't kill what was on the board. Liliana the Last Hope had a nice cameo. Chandra was pretty good as well. I don't know who's going to get the thumbnail treatment this time. It's got to be a red card. Maybe it should just be Wrenn and 6 because we played 4 of them, but I'm almost tempted to give it to the Spyro. We'll have to see how I'm feeling. But in any case, my friends, there was your league. There's the little wrap-up. Again, I'm not the one to give minutia-based critique on a deck like this, so if you've got any feedback about the list, please let us have it. If you've got any feedback about the play, feel free to rake me over the coals. I probably deserve it. If you haven't seen me play The Rock, watch me play The Rock. You'll see some much better plays than this. We had some really nice sequencing in our 5-0 most recent video on the channel. That was a fun one as well. But hey, we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and red is my weakness. Red is my weakness, but we're still getting the 4-1s. Good times, my friends. All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.